Now let's get on with other objects. We'll turn down we'll create a plane in my viewport. Going to set the plane back to the grid 0, and that area is too big. Make it small and here. So now let's have 3 faces there. So the next one here is smooth. We've seen smooth before to basically add more faces to this. All right, and increase subdivisions. This subdivision we want them to be. And down here we have triangulate. This will basically make or add triangles or turn my quads to triangles. Okay, it works differently from reduce. Triangulate will turn all quads back to triangles. If we click on this, you see that we have triangles all on our faces instead of quads. Okay, now to reverse this process, we have triangles. You just need to come down here and hit quadrangulate. This will convert triangles back to quads. We hit on this, we have back our quads. Okay, so even if you have more than even if you have multiple mesh on this, let's divide this, smooth out, and let's add some triangles on this. Come back here and click on the same object and hit quadrangulate. It goes back to quads. So that is the function of triangulate and quadrangulate. Now mirror, we basically mirror our object. We have a box. Let's move this on the side. Let's create a box in the center of our object, of our grid here. All right, let's have it somewhere around here, not at the dead center of the grid. Let's have it there. All right, now if we hit on mirror, okay, Maya will make a duplicate of this object while on the same mesh. If I hit on this, see that we have 2 objects here. All right, the both are on the same mesh, which is PQ3. All right, this is the offset. Now there are some options we have on our mirror command. We have cut geometry. It says that if the mirrored part of it cuts or goes in the other axis, how do you want Maya to merge the geometries together? If you hit on, if you set to on, if I move the axis away, you see that Maya has used the mirrored face to cut on the original one. Okay, so I have a cut geometry top on. If I turn that off, you see that this is the mirrored face is on the other side of our object, on the other axis, outside of the axis. So we could change the offset to move it down both sides. We are on axis X. All right, this is the X axis. That was the axis that the mirrored action did happen. We could change that axis to Y. All right, and we offset that. We see that Y points up from this coordinate here. Then the mirroring will basically be applied on that axis. We change that to Z or Z. We'll see that the mirroring will apply itself on the Z axis. Okay, so we have those settings there. We can also have other settings down here. We've turned on more settings as we've seen in previous videos. Mirror plane, center XYZ, rotate XYZ. Okay, so these tools are coming handy when we start modeling things and stuff with them. So let's get back our plane. You can also see some other things here. Now, one more thing to discuss or to look at is the concept of normals. All right, like for instance, we could see that here we have something called cleanup. If we click on this, Maya will tend to clean up our mesh, but there may be cases where if you throw an error, and those cases are most times cases that have non-manifold geometries or flipped normals, or even unwedded vertices, or flying vertices that find themselves at the center of a face. Let's make a plane to discuss the issue of normals. All right, so we have 3 faces here, and these faces, you could see their shading here, it's all gray. If you turn the back of the face, you see this side is dark. That is because the normals of this face are pointing upwards in these directions. How do we see that? We click on this and go down to attribute editor. Under the shape node, we want to open the mesh component display. Scroll down, you see display normals. Okay, if you hit on display normals, definitely see that there is this green line that comes from the center of a face, okay, of this big face here. Could increase the size of normals to like 10 to see that long line. I think that's too big. Not to 5. So we have the normal type showing us the normals that we have on a face. We could change that to show us the normals we could have on the vertices. Okay, for instance, you have 4 vertices on this side, which are the normals to use vertices. All right, so let's use face for a demonstration. Now, these are the normals of this face. They are pointing away from us in this regard, so we won't see this model. Even if you hit render on our viewport, we won't see that. Well, we are seeing the back of the model. All right, now this is the front of the model. If you apply light in our scene and turn this way, you not see this object because the normals are pointing away from us. Now let's say in the case where we have a flip normal, let's pick on this face. Let's flip it for an instance. We have this kind of object here. If we have this, okay, one way or the other we have this kind of situation while modeling, and we want to add smooth into. Let's want to add smooth. All right, I want to add some we topologize. We keep running into errors, especially when we have something like this. Okay, I have triangles. I want to have a retopology on this. If you click on the object and hit on retopology, you have an error because we have a non-manifold geometry which is caused by a flip normal on our object. Okay, even if you try to clean up the mesh, it still remains the same because of these flip normals. So what we can do is we could select all the faces. Sometimes the geometry might be huge that we don't know where those flip normals are coming from, right? Especially in a character or a huge asset like vehicle and so on. You just need to select every face and go down to mesh display and hit conform. Conform will make sure that all the faces are aligned in a particular directions. Okay, to make sure that we don't have a flip face in between two faces facing different directions. So conform will reverse that process. Okay, and we could go ahead and apply the topology in this case, and it will do its work for us. Let's turn off display, and we have that. Okay, so imagine if you have some faces here that are flipped, this way, I flip this way, and you don't know, I want to model on this or sculpt on this, and Maya keeps giving you this error, that you can't do stuff on your object, like you can't sculpt on this. It keeps telling you that you have a non-manifold geometry. You have a non-manifold geometry. You can't sculpt on this because of these flipped faces. Okay, so this is very important. You have to make sure that all the normals of our faces are facing the same direction. In essence, they are conformed together. Select all the faces here, go to mesh display and hit conform. Okay, and Maya will fix those reversed faces for us. Most times we might not deliberately create this. We might have models coming from other software packages, that's FBX or OBJ, or even downloaded models, and they might have some flipped faces in them. So we want to make sure that we conform our faces together and let all the normals face in a particular direction. So one last tool we want to talk about before we wrap up this class is edge flow topology. When modeling, for instance, let's say we have a plane and we'll subdivide our plane into like let's use subdivision height of 2. Let's pick on this and let's move this up. Okay, and let's say we have this, and this is good. Okay, and we want to have an edge here. All right, in essence, we want to do this. I want to select these two edges and hit connect. Okay, and after hitting connect, we have an edge here, and we want to still go further to move that edge this way. So we want to have this kind of flow, rounded flow around it. Now this process could be summed up in one. Instead of moving that edge manually, we could tell Maya to move it automatically for us. When we select these two edges, instead of using connect component here, we want to go over. Okay, we want to do this first, connect the component. Okay, click on this and go down to edit mesh, edit edge flow. Okay, when you hit on this, Maya will move that edge over for us so that we still have this kind of flow going around. We could change we can adjust the edge flow amount. Okay, either by 1 or by 0. We can also change the edge flow type, turn it off and on. All right, now this edge flow amount can be increased or decreased depending on how much of that airflow that we want to have. All right, not sure we could have more than that value here. We have 5, it goes too much. Have 3, have 4. Can type our values manually there, and it flows that way for us. Now, how can that come in handy? Let's say we have a ball, okay, and we reduce the subdivision of our ball. Reduce that a lot. Okay, from something like this. Okay, now this is not really interesting to look at. All right, but we could select all the edges here. Hit connect. Sorry, select some edges here. We'll hit connect component. Maya will do some random thing for us, right? Or we could pick some edges here. Pick a ring of edge, right? Hit connect. Maya will give us this connection here. Okay, now in this case we can manually move it this if we should manually move that this way, see that we are moving this edge here outwards, which should be up this direction here. So this might not be cool to manually do this yourself. That is where tools like this come in handy, where we hit on this and hit edit edge flow, and Maya will do that for us. All right, so that's one example, one place where we could use edit edge flow. Select edges, connect them, and pick the edge back and go down here and hit edit edge flow. It might create this roundness for us. So that's how much we could take for this lesson. In the next class, we start looking at modeling objects, or looking at modeling props and other things. We make an example of a kitchen, model a kitchen, and when we are done, we'll texture it, and in the long run, we light and render that kitchen out. So have a nice day.